Now, France has barred Israel's far-right security minister Itamar Ben Gvir from entering its territory. The French government says the ban on Ben Gvir reflects growing anger around the world over Israel's treatment of activists detained as a flotilla tried to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza. Ben Gvir was widely condemned for humiliating some of those held. Many of the campaigners say they were mistreated by authorities in Israel. The Israeli government has not yet commented on the French decision. And Anshel Vora is DW's correspondent in Brussels. Anshel, good to have you with us. Please talk us through these allegations of mistreatment against the flotilla activists.
Well, the allegations are quite serious, including of sexual assault and including rape. Several governments have taken a note of this. Organisers said that they were also beaten up. A human rights group present said that there are widespread injuries. Some people were taken to hospitals, later discharged. And among those who were injured are several European citizens as well. In that clip, our viewers can see, we can see that the activists are zip-tied. This is a stress position, so, easy to see that this is a bit of an extreme step there by Israeli security forces.
Yeah, and this has repercussions now. France has not only banned Israel's far-right security minister, but he also wants EU sanctions on Ben Gvir. Those sanctions and all those actions, however, against him as a person, not against the state of Israel. What makes him such a controversial figure?
Well, it's not just France. Even Italy said that Ben Gvir should be discussed. And I can tell you, sitting here in Brussels, Ben Gvir has been discussed behind closed doors for a while now, particularly because he has been so provocative, along with the other far-right politician who's a minister, Smotrich. Both of these people have been discussed, although they haven't yet been sanctioned by countries that are members of the EU. A ban is separate in that sense. Spain has banned Ben Gvir earlier. Ben Gvir's traveled to Spain, and now it's France. He is seen, experts say that he propagates a militant racist ideology. He's led rallies where people have chanted death to Arabs. He's the security minister, and under him, illegal settlements in the West Bank have expanded. So like a whole host of reasons that make this person controversial. And some would argue that even this stunt by him at with the flotilla activists, they've actually described it as a stunt, is something he's trying to do to garner more support before the upcoming elections in Israel. And his political future really depends on how far these stunts work out in his favor. They can also work against him because, in this case, at least, the Israeli prime minister, who's been in government with the support of these two far-right ministers. But in this case, he's distanced himself from Ben Gvir.
Now, you mentioned that there's been talk about him maybe behind closed doors in Europe, in Brussels. Was Germany part of those talks? Because we know that Germany tends to be quite cautious when it comes to Israel.
Yes, Germany is always a part of these conversations. And you're right, Germany is very cautious, but there are many historical reasons for that. Some would say that Germany blocks sanctions against Israel or has blocked. There was a lot of talk back in the day before the ceasefire was agreed upon between Israel and Hamas of EU trying to suspend trade ties, and that one of the countries that blocked this was Germany, the other was Italy. But public pressure has now built up. And we've also seen a bit of a shift in German stance. And we've seen that the West Bank settler organizations that back illegal West Bank settlements were sanctioned, and Germany was on board in that case. And, others argue that perhaps Germany is also, using its leverage more sparingly. It doesn't want to go all the way, and it thinks that it can have a better influence on Israeli policy if it doesn't sanction. However, in this case, we've got to see how it goes forward. I wouldn't be surprised if, sanctions against Ben Gvir are discussed and even go through.
All right. Anshel Vora there in Brussels. Anshel, thank you so much for that.